This is beautiful Olden in the Norwegian Fjords. Olden is a very small place, less than 1,000 people live here, and yet it's one of the most popular places to visit here in the Nordfjord and the entire Norwegian Fjords region. In this video, I'm going to show you why. From the spectacular views from the top of the Loen cable car, just around the corner, to some amazing walks up to glaciers in the nearby area, Olden offers a lot to see and do outside the main village here. But first, let's put Olden on a map. The Nordfjord is one of the handful of major fjords you'll find along the west coast of Norway. Olden and its neighbour Loen are located at the eastern end of the fjord, around 100 kilometres from the open ocean. This location means that sailing is a wonderful way to reach Olden. Well over 100 cruise ships will call into Olden this summer. The deep water of the Nordfjord allows Olden to accommodate multiple ships on the same day. They can be docked at the port or anchored and use tender boats to ferry their passengers ashore. If you're visiting Olden on a ship, make sure to be up early for the sail-in. You will not regret it. The Nordfjord is packed with natural highlights, and there's plenty to see as the scenery gets more and more dramatic the further in you sail. It's an undoubted highlight of any Norwegian fjords itinerary. Now, whether you're arriving on a ship or you're travelling independently, Olden and its neighbouring village of Loen offer a wealth of sights and activities to explore. The first place we're going to visit today in this video is the Briksdal Glacier. It's one of the most popular trips in this part of Norway, and we're going to take some troll cars to shorten the journey there. Let's go check it out. Rather than take a cruise ship excursion, I booked an independent trip with a local tour provider, and they collected us from the cruise pier. As we began the scenic 45-minute drive to the Briksdal Lodge, it began to rain a lot. But it didn't really spoil the sensational views of the rivers and lakes of Olden. If anything, it added to the atmosphere. Driving through one of the avalanche tunnels was an experience, and we were soon at the Briksdal Lodge, where I found myself mesmerised by this waterfall. The lodge is base camp for the national park and features a cafe and a large shop. Outside, the trail splits into two. Hikers take the right trail, while the troll cars go left. Troll cars are small buggies that seat 7, and they run back and forth through the day, but they should be booked in advance even though you can buy tickets at the lodge, especially in high season. We boarded the cars and I was ready to get wet. It was raining a lot. But as we began the drive, the weather soon improved, and it was all smiles as the scenery became even more astonishing. We passed many of the hikers on the route, and I was glad of the shortcut. Shortly after we passed this wonderful waterfall, we got our first glimpse of the glacier. It was crazy to hear about how much it's receded, and how it once reached as far as where we were driving right now. The troll cars don't take you all the way to the viewpoint. There is an optional 15-minute walk, but it is oh so worth it. As the glacier comes into view, you climb this bank and then, wow, the lake surprises you. It makes for an incredible photo. Even though it's receded so much in recent years, the glacier is still a stunning sight. If you're hiking, you can spend as much time as you like here, of course, depending on your transport back to Olden. But in the troll cars, you only get about 15 to 20 minutes at this viewpoint before it's time to return. The return journey, though, was just as enjoyable, and I got an even better view of the waterfall this time. Now, as amazing as that trip to Briksdal was, it is not the only option for glacier sightseeing here in Olden. On a previous visit, I went to the Kjenndalen glacier, and here's how that went. This time I chose a cruise line excursion, which included a guided bus tour and walk to the glacier. The bus drives around to the village of Loen and then around this spectacular lake. Well, what a drive along Loen Lake that was. Took about an hour with a photo stop, but we've just arrived. We've come through the Shandalan valley and we can see Fjords ahead of us, and what a sight this is. We're going to take a 15-20 minute walk along this trail to get a better view of this remarkable glacier. Let's go. The walk to the Kjenndalen arm of the Fjords Glacier brought us face to face with the risk of avalanches and landslides in this part of Norway. It was quite striking to see the power of nature up close. Then a short walk brought us to this viewpoint, and we spent a good 20 minutes or so here admiring the ice and the beautiful nature in all directions, while the guide told us more tales of life in Olden. On the return drive, we stopped once more to admire the lake, on which you can also take a boat trip as an extended version of this tour. Another eye-opener was the memorial to the people who died in the 2 major tsunamis that swept over the village here, caused by rockfalls from the steep mountains straight into the lake. Once again, a sobering reminder of the power of nature. Now, while I do recommend Briksdal first and foremost, if you're travelling to Olden and you've done Briksdal before, or the tours are full, the Kjenndalen Glacier tour is a worthy alternative. Everyone on this trip certainly enjoyed themselves. Just before we move on, please do check out lifeinnorway.net for more on Olden, the fjords, and all things Norway in English. And if you do enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Members of the Life in Norway Travel Club on Patreon get early access to all videos and behind the scenes info. Now, if glaciers aren't your thing, there is another must-do when visiting the Olden region, and that is the Lorn Skylift for these incredible views of the fjord and the valley. I've been to Loen Skylift a couple of times now on previous visits, and here's what you can expect if you book a trip. Over in the neighbouring village Loen, this cable car is one of the world's steepest. Just take a look at this. Regular shuttle buses run from Olden and are the easiest way to reach the Skylift if you don't have your own car. The ride up 1,000 metres takes just 5 minutes. The views are of course sensational, but don't worry too much about what you can or can't see from the cable car, as there is plenty of space at the top. Just take a look at this panoramic view. First, the Lovatne Lake, that's the way to the Shandalan Glacier that I showed you earlier. From here, you can look around to see the village of Loen below, the village of Olden and the ships ahead, and then, as it pans round, the Nordfjord coming into view. Eventually, this reaches the ocean. What a view. But as good as the views are, there's loads more to do up here. First things first, hiking. There are loads of trails up here, whether you're looking for a short stroll or more of an all-day adventure. Speaking of adventure, there's a zip line, which has proved popular since it opened. Now, the zip line isn't super long, but it crosses a staggering drop. Would you do this? Let me know in the comments. Loen is also a popular spot for air sports. What's air sports? Well, take a look at this. I couldn't quite believe my eyes as I saw someone do this, and I was just pleased I managed to catch it on camera first. We stayed up here for hours enjoying the view, and I'm sure you will too, before your return to Olden. Now, while I do recommend booking something while you're in Olden to do, whether it's a glacier trip or a trip up on the Skylift, the village itself is also worth a look around. So let's do that right now. One option to explore Olden is this road train service, which is always running when cruise ships are in dock, but I prefer simply walking. There's not a lot of specific attractions to see, it's more about spending time out in the staggering landscapes, but I suggest aiming for Olden Old Church, this lovely white church in stunning surroundings. On my recent visit, it was open, so I got to see inside for the first time. It stopped being used for regular services in 1934 and now serves essentially as a church museum, and it's only really used for special events. If you walk away from the village centre past the school, you'll eventually reach Olden New Church, but to me this beautiful red wooden church looks just as old as the old church. Despite the small size of the village, there is a busy shopping area with 2 supermarkets, some clothing and souvenir stores. Here you can pick up a bottle of Olden water, sourced from the nearby glaciers and sold across Norway. With yet more spectacular scenery and a world-famous railway, Flåm is another major tourist destination in the Norwegian fjords. Watch this video next to see my recommendations for the very best things to see and do on a visit to Flåm. And as always, thank you for watching.